Welcome back to the movement, guys. We got my beautiful guest here, an up-and-comer right now. He's going to beat Harvey Specter and everybody else. Louis Litz in his back pocket. This is Sammy Alroub, one of my fellow kings.
Thank you for having me, man. Well, that's an honor.
Habibi, bro. Well, I've been wanting to have you on. I was excited about today. I won't lie to you. I've been thinking about it all last week since diabetes. I gotta stop calling. By the way, please, everybody, don't call him diabetes. Or he's going to go by Daoud Sukari.
Daoud Sukari, the king.
The king, bro. Allah,
Malik al-Gamal.
You know, I was actually excited to show you this. I actually got them today.
They finally came in?
They finally came in, man. I was actually super pumped to show you these. We finally got them in. We got the Martin Brodeur here. I'm gonna move this up a little bit. I wanted to try the torpedo. I haven't tried one yet. Okay.
This is a little dry.
We'll find out. We got the Davidoff, the Grand.
That's the one now, the Grand Robusto?
Exactly, the Robusto. This one's beautiful. Okay. And I said, you know what? I'll take.
The color of the leaf.
It's amazing.
It looks sick. It's like a golden.
It's amazing.
Brown.
High quality. Quality.
It was rolled on the thigh.
You're gonna have to move the mic. I think I can match you, eh?
It was rolled on the thigh. This one.
100%, bro, and a beautiful one too. You got an Alec Bradley. Okay.
I'm not familiar with these.
To be honest, Alec Bradleys were very nice from which one's this one? So
nice.
that one's okay, this one's from Honduras.
Yeah.
Okay, this is that. So that one's the Alec Bradley Genesis. This is the Tempest.
This is the Tempest here in my hand.
The Tempest. Okay. And this is some Escobar cigar. Excited to try that one out too.
That's true.
And bro, you gotta go.
This is also a nice roll.
This is a quick Romeo El Julieta.
Another classic.
Exactly.
Number one.
So we're gonna enjoy these later on, eh?
These smell great.
You're down. You're ready to smoke. I know. Hold on. Let me get this one back first.
The Romeos always smell fantastic.
Oh, well, I am excited. Honestly, very good, bro. They even put Bovida's the humidity controls in there too when they ship them off.
Well, not bad. I don't understand what they're doing with the humidity control if they're already in the packaging, but
yeah, I didn't.
I'm sure someone smarter than me will.
I didn't understand that either.
Will explain that one.
Even the Romeo and Julieta that's in the container, I didn't understand why they put that in there. Sammy Alroub, we're here to hear your story, my brother.
My story?
Who are you, man? Tell us all about Sammy Alroub. Give me all the juice in the world.
Wallah, man, I grew up in a very humble household.
MashaAllah.
Came out of South Keys.
South Keys. Another fellow from the Ottawa South.
From Trappers Park.
Bro, Alex Nasrallah, my boy, was from Trappers Park. We did the episode number, 3 or 4?
Yeah. Super hectic place to grow up in. I mean, especially it's like a 0 to like 13-year-old.
And it was rough back in the days.
It was bad at one point.
I don't know about now, but
there was problems. Every neighborhood has its issues.
I'm getting everybody from the hood on this thing nowadays. I didn't even know you're from the hood.
Look, we left when I was still like 13, 14.
And then, still a good amount of age. Though.
Yeah, my parents were like, yo, okay, it's time to bounce to the suburbs.
Thank God.
That's it.
I hated the suburbs, though.
Me too. I think the suburbs are the worst place to be. You know why? You're not inner city enough to do any of the cool, fun shit.
That's a fact.
And you're not far enough out of the city to do any of the cool, fun shit. Like, you can't be a country boy and you can't be a city boy. You're stuck.
The best part about the hood I found is the fact that you get to chill with all the boys. Everybody's your age. You have a good time. I remember we used to sit on my cousin's couch and watch National Geographics, bro.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
And then, let's go play ball. Ball's right there. Go hiking, have fun.
That's it.
Do whatever.
Like, from the time that we moved out of South Keys, that was the biggest shock of my life because I went from, like, triple XL tees.
Oh,
and,
my God.
like, riding my bike with my boys. And then we went straight to the suburbs, and I was so out of place. It was like someone dropped me in, like, the savannah.
That's crazy.
It was like everyone was wearing, like, DC shoes. I mean, I grew up in Payless.
Yeah, literally.
Look at her. I was like, what's going on?
That's hilarious, man. You used to wear the tall tees?
Yeah, man.
You know what's funny? I literally grew up in the epitome of the era of the tall tees. I never. I always used to look like a miniature gangster, I swear to God. Like I was in the mob. I was too infatuated by
the funny thing is I was
the
tiny.
Columbos and those guys.
I was a tiny kid, man. I was always the shortest one, like the run to the pack until like My parents sent me to the Middle East. But then we came back and I was okay. I grew a foot.
When did you go to the Middle East, by the way? After 13, obviously?
I was what, 14?
Okay.
14, 15. They're like, yo, bounce.
Where?
They sent me to Kuwait, Syria, and Jordan.
Who has the best food at all three places?
Yo, you can't, like, each one is beautiful in its own way. You know what it is? Syria, you can't beat their kitchens. Like, especially when it comes to Lebanon or anything like that kind of tabigh.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, their shush barak and their yalanji and all these things. But then when you go to Amman, you have the mansaf and you have like those really
I love mansaf,
heavy, hectic dishes.
But all mansaf is not the same, but continue.
It's not. It's definitely
like, actually, I didn't even realize that until I had a Jordanian, then I had a Palestinian one, and I'm like, bro, there's actually a difference.
It's very different. It's just different in the way of like is a kesaru, if they break the yogurt down with like milk or other yogurt or whatever, if they're just gonna use el jamid ala aslo, you know, like as it is from the rock, and then they break that down.
It's incredible, man. It's incredible. I get some
That's
good
my
techniques.
favorite.
So Kuwait, Syria,
yeah, and then Urdun.
and Jordan.
Yeah,
Right.
and then that's it.
What are you doing there?
Visiting my grandfather. Allah yarhamu.
The legend.
Yeah.
The real Sammy Alroub.
The OG.
May you rest in peace, Allah yarhamu. Yeah.
I mean,
So you went there. Was that just to see what the culture was like?
yeah, man. I think my parents were worried I was getting a little bit too whitewashed. So they're like, yo, send him back home. Let him learn the language, the culture. You know, I could speak Arabic and
baptize him back
everything,
to
but
the
they're like, yo,
airways.
they wanted me to... We have a word in Palestine. It's like, بدهم يدعكوني في اللغة, you know?
Right away.
They wanted to like grind it into me.
They didn't think you could do that here?
They could, but I think it contributed a lot to like my love for the culture because I got to experience it
100%.
firsthand as a child. I think that made a huge difference. You know, I'd gone with my parents to the Middle East before
Yeah.
on multiple occasions, but until that trip when I was old enough to kind of really to walk around by myself, to go and do things on my own, to take the micro from Duma to whatever to Halab or whatever, you know, all those small things that make up the day to day. I was basically living there for 2.5 months.
You had a blast.
That's it. So when I came back, I was like Captain Palestine, you know, in the worst way possible. I came back in my fake Burberry shirt,
That's hilarious.
white pants. Well,
I still remember when I went to Lebanon and I was 10 years old and I saw Adidas. I didn't realize this, but they had the 4 lines. I think Adidas
Yeah.
is 3 lines.
yeah.
And then I remember when I put them on and I came back here, I thought I was the coolest shit down there.
That's the Adibas
That was
special.
the Adidas, bro. That's what it was. I remember the guy was like, "Look at this guy. He has 4 lines. Did you what did they make a new line for you?" I'm like,
That's
"What are you
it.
talking about, man?" I look, it says Adidas too. I'm like, "What a joke." So you went there. Obviously, you got educated there as well.
In the Middle East? No, that was just like my summers basically.
Oh, that was just vacation time.
That's it. My parents literally just sent me away for the summer. They're like, yo, go kick it with your grandfather.
Like Fresh Prince of Bel Air, bro.
That's it.
Who doesn't want to be the Fresh Prince?
That's it. I felt great. That was used to call me the Kennedy. I'd be walking
I
around.
hated that line.
I hated it. It pissed me off.
Yeah, me too. I used
But
to.
then I grew into it, you know?
Thank God I stopped. I think I'm grateful that you said something. So you're the Kennedy they called.
Yeah. I'd be walking around. Hey, الكندي اجا, الكندي راح. طيب, okay.
It's so upsetting.
Yeah.
Okay, so after you come back, obviously,
Yeah, well, I hit my growth spurt.
Barhaven.
Came back, grew up in Barhaven. Ended up going to Carleton. Do the whole 4 years at Carleton. And then I decided I didn't want to be in Canada anymore. So I said, okay, let's bounce to the UK. I went and did my law degree in the UK.
How is the UK like?
It's a
Lifestyle, anyways, you know?
Yo, lifestyle, it's like European, but not European at the same time. British people are very interesting in that sense. They're
In what sense? Sure. Give us an example.
they're very cold, man. They're cold people. They're like not super welcoming. They're a little bit like
Oh, yeah?
standoffish. But at the same time, once you get to know them, they can be the friendliest people you've ever met in your life.
Interesting.
But it's to get to that point with them where you can kind of break down their walls because they're, you know, there's a lot of stereotypes and we use stereotypes for a reason. Sometimes it's like British people are penny pinchers. They can be cheap. They can be a little cold. And those things are all like true in their own sense. You know, like
You've just pissed off every Brit.
it is what it is. Man, my first week in the UK, I got stuck. And I don't know if you like في العربي we have a saying مش بيننا, it's not between us.
It's not between us.
You know? Whatever. I don't count the balances between me and my friends. If I pay dinner, he's gonna pay dinner. I don't keep a running tab in my head. So it was my first week in the UK. I went down to the shop and I had made a couple of friends already at this point.
Nice.
I was stuck. I was like 10 pence short for my milk. Like I was literally just buying milk and
pence,
eggs.
I'm guessing, is cents,
Yeah,
right?
pretty much, you know?
Okay.
So I'm like literally 10 cents short. And I happen to see the guy that lives on my floor. And I know him. I'm like, yo, Joel, could you just let me some change? Like whatever, if you have some change, can I borrow it from you? Okay, no problem. Gives me 10 pence. I pay my guy, go upstairs. And then it's like 2 weeks later, I'm walking around. And Joel sees me. I'm coming back into the compound. I had like a student compound. He sees me and he's like, oh, hey, Sammy, how are you? Oh, yeah, good. Everything's going well. Yeah. So do you have my money?
No way.
I was like, I don't know how to act. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, do you have my 10p? You know, they call like the p, the pence, whatever.
Okay.
Like, do you have my 10p? I'm like, I'm trying to remember what I owe him for, you know? Like,
yeah.
And he's like, oh, you remember like 2 weeks ago, you were stuck, this, that, the eggs, the milk. I was like, oh. So I didn't know what to do, man. I just like, I checked my pockets. I had like actual like £1. So I just gave him the pound. I'm like, here, man. Like,
that's
keep
insane, man.
It was the happiest day. He's like, are you sure? You want me to give you the 90p back? I'm like, bro, just keep it.
It's like that?
Yeah.
Man, imagine you gave somebody a dime here and you're like, yo.
It's down
you
to
got
the
that
penny.
D for me, bro?
Yeah, it's down to
that
the
doesn't
penny.
even sound
It doesn't even sound nice, bro.
Oh, you got that D for me, man. That's the first thing you can tell somebody. You're looking to get a sexual assault lawsuit. Please better call Sammy, you know?
Better call Saul for that one, bro.
That's a fact, man. That's crazy. So he literally came after you for the 10p.
And yeah, this was like a recurring thing the whole time. So me, as an Arab, with my generosity, I was paying for a lot of people. But then when they would pay for me, they'd actually hit me up and be like, hey, you owe us XYZ for the meal or XYZ for this or for your share. I'm like, and then towards the like halfway through the first semester, I was like, yo, I'm done paying for people.
That's wild, eh?
Yeah, unless I knew that they were like me, which would be other Arabs from outside of England, basically.
Because we do have a habit of, you go out, leave it to me, you grab the bill, you try to pay.
Yeah. I've never seen someone put his wallet away so quickly, man. I'd be like, hey, I'll cover this one. All the wallets disappear.
That's insane, man. You know what? The one thing I find I won't lie to you, I don't like cheap people.
It's very frustrating.
It's very disgusting. It's a very ugly trait. Being cheap is a very ugly trait, and especially when the ones that count favors at all times. Like you just said, there's that saying, it's not between us.
It's not between us.
But honestly, I find it's a very ugly trait. Like how many times I used to be in the same position as you. You know how many times I took care of everybody, bro. Back in the days, took care of everybody. I used to have people coming to my apartment in tears. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. Khair, Shufi, what's going on? Talk to me. Oh, my parents, we got an eviction notice. Why'd you get an eviction notice? You didn't pay rent? Yeah, man, it's been 2 months. I think it's after 45 days. I don't know. 45 days or 60 days. I'm pretty sure honestly, I'm pretty sure even after the first month.
Yeah.
After you broke into 30 days.
You miss rent, then they give you a certain timeline.
Long
story short.
Anyways, oh yeah, no problem. I act like, I'm just listening to the story. I'd be like, I'm going to go take a leak real quick. I go into the bathroom underneath the sink. I used to have a place, a little spot where I used to put cash.
Yeah. And
I saved the deposit box. I go count the cash. Go back. Here you go. Go pay the rent. I don't want to see the parents homeless. Oh my God, man. Thank you so much. I love you, man. You're the realest, bro. You've always been there. Okay, yeah, cool. Go pay the rent. They call me. I get a call from their house phone. Why you call me on what number is this? It's the house line. Why you call me from the cell phone? I couldn't afford the bill. I'm telling you, I used literally like that, bro. Every time we'd go out, I pay everything. Shisha, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Foot the bill. I shit you not. I remember when everything went sideways for me, and I remember I didn't have any more money. And I disappeared for like a month and a half. I didn't say shit. Because I was always the one that took care of everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want to have to let anybody in and what's going on or whatever the reasons were. Anyways, I remember I finally answered the phone. One of my buddies, he's actually not my buddy anymore, but at the time being. I answered the call and then, hey, what's going on? He goes, I haven't seen you in a while. And the nickname was Frankie before, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, Frankie, it's been a while, whatever, what's going on? I miss you, man. Where you been, bro? I'm like, listen, I'm gonna shoot it to you straight. I have nothing left. You know what I mean? Bro, I remember I was living on Chinese noodles for like a few months.
So how many of those people stuck around after you
Fuck
told them that?
them. Stick around. I don't want them to stick around. I couldn't believe the next word that came out of his mouth. I blew my lid. He's like, "Oh man, that's terrible." I told him what happened. He's like, "That's terrible. Call me when you're up."
No way.
I'm like, "If you have balls, you'll come to my face right now."
It's the lack
Tell
of
me.
like the lack of karame. I don't know how you translate that word, but
Dignity?
yeah, I guess so.
I don't know.
Good grace, good fortune.
You know what? It's ugly as that's a very disgusting thing when they remind you. Oh, what are you talking about? You like that, bro? Don't you forgot I got it for you last week?
That's crazy.
Yeah, bro. I know you got it for me last week. I'm saying I like it. I don't understand. Every 2 seconds you're throwing it in my face. Oh yeah, it's okay, bro. You're not gonna get the bill. Come on, bro. I got it for you last week.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I swear to God. That's a disgusting trait. So you continue anyways. I don't know. I went on a
Alhamdulillah,
tangent.
man. All I can say, alhamdulillah, God's put me in a place in my life where everyone I'm surrounded with is fighting for the bill or fighting every single time. It's truly become a situation where it's not between me or any of the people I'm with.
You know what, though? I understand a lot of people being like, I don't want to go for the bill anymore because it just gets complicated at some point.
Yeah.
To be honest, one of my boys, actually a very good friend, it's till this day, even now, pay your bill, I pay my bill.
Yeah.
I'm like you. Oh, yeah, I don't care, whatever. He's like, I've done it for too long. Honestly, it's just complicated for what, bro? Khalas, let me get what I want to eat. I don't have to feel bad buying whatever I want.
He's got
I'm
a
like,
point.
that actually makes a lot of sense.
No, that's the thing. It makes sense.
Yeah, because I'm like, you know what? Maybe I want this appetizer. I want this appetizer. And like, man, fuck, if he's going to be paying for it, I can't even order that. Why am I even here? I'm like, I swear that one was genius. So, hey, go back to, I want to know more about UK. I've been interested in European culture.
Yes, it was. I think one of the nicest things about being in England specifically was that it was like a melting pot for all of Europe. You know, you had a lot of people from Italy, from Germany, from Spain, France, all coming to England to study. And I traveled a lot throughout Europe, and I didn't see as much of that kind of like mingle as much as I did in England, right? Like in Italy, you'd be surrounded with like almost exclusively Italians. In France, similarly with the French people.
That's interesting.
Or alternatively Moroccans in France. But in England, no, it's genuinely a melting pot of Europe. It's kind of like what North America is for the rest of the world.
Oh, really?
So that was nice in that sense because I got to meet a lot of different people from a lot of different nationalities, from different backgrounds and cultures that otherwise I would never have gotten the chance to meet. And I think that was fantastic for me personally because it really opened my eyes to a lot of different things.
Which football team do you watch? Who's your team?
Oh, man.
Start the controversy right now. What football team?
This one hurts, man. I'm a Manchester United fan.
Man, you is going in the dumps right now, eh?
It's not going in the dumps, bro.
It's been in the dumps. Every Man City fan, please make a comment at this point.
Listen,
Liverpool's coming out.
I was studying in Leeds the whole time, so at least I got to see Leeds go from Div 1 to Premier League. You know, I watched that happen live.
That's
That
right
was great.
there. That's an accomplishment right there, man. How was that though? Actually, watching I've never watched, bro. I don't even want to hear Senators or an NHL game. Let's talk about diehard football fans. How was that watching a game?
Yo, you want to hear something crazy?
I love
I
crazy.
spent 2 years in England. I never watched a Premier League game live.
Cut the cameras, shut the mics off. I'm leaving. Seriously?
I'm dead serious. I did go and watch a Camp Nou game, like a Barcelona game live,
Interesting.
but I never watched a Premier League game.
How long were you there for, by the way?
2 years. Like on the dot, pretty much.
2 years?
Yeah, 2017 to 2019.
What'd you call it last time? Red Bricks?
Yeah, I went to a Red Brick University. There's a couple: Oxford, University of Leeds, University of Manchester, and then a handful of other ones. I think Exeter, no, York might be on there.
Which one did you go to? University of Leeds,
I
right?
went to University of Leeds.
How was that?
Great. I had never been challenged academically like that in my life.
And you were taking?
Law. Yeah, so
Where's the love of law come from?
Where? Well, man,
Like, there's no way anybody's going to go take law to be like, you know what? It's a good career. It's going to make money.
I kind of like, so when I was leaving high school, I was in a weird place because my grades were shit. I was doing terribly. My last 2 years of high school, I was taking a bunch of like fluff courses just to get my grade up.
Yeah.
So it was like outdoor education and like,
Outdoor education.
yeah, man.
I just made that up.
I went camping in high school, like,
Are
and
you
it was like I
serious?
got graded for it. It was great.
Man, that's exactly wow.
I spent 5 days in Algonquin Park.
That's just stupid.
I don't know who gave the teacher the clearance to take a group of like 15 students to Algonquin Park solo for 5 days, like
Really?
overnight camping with canoes and shit. But whoever came up with that idea,
Be honest, it was a good time though. That 5
it was
days.
great. It was
Oh, it must
fantastic.
have been a blast.
100%. Yeah. It was like life changing.
Yeah, for sure.
It was great, man.
Okay, so red bricks. I want to know about this. Okay, so continue. Sorry.
Yeah. So high school, I took one like law course essentially. And there was, wallah, me and that teacher always used to butt heads because I found the class a little bit too slow for like pace wise. So I didn't want to be there. She wanted me to stay in the class. Long story short, to encourage me to kind of pull my weight a little bit more, she's like, yo, I want you to be the captain of the moot team. So moot in law is like when you go to practice court, or like fake court essentially. And then
I watch shoots. Yeah.
Yeah, so you get like, well, for your viewers, because not everyone's going to be.
I'm just having fun.
But what's it called? The moot is you're going to get a case and then you and your team kind of become either the defense or the offense essentially, and then you argue your case in front of like a fake court. That's what it was. So we actually did surprisingly well with me leading the team, and it was a great time. Well, I got to go down to the courts on Elgin Street. We went inside, presented our case in front of real judges. It was a blast.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I think we ranked like in the city like second or third place behind Glebe High School.
Really?
So like that was like a huge achievement for us, especially considering half of us were burnouts at the time.
And you're in a brand new high school. It's only 60 you.
Brand new, we were the only like class in our high school when it opened.
That's
so when it
crazy.
was grade 9, we were the only grade 9 students in the whole school.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think there was 3 homerooms or something.
That's it.
Yeah.
Look how big. Obviously, it's packed now.
Now there's like 3,000 students in the school. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
Hold on. The moot court. Did they do it? Did you have like a panel of 12 or just like one judge or 3 judges?
I think it was
or?
2 judges that like they had like volunteer judges. Some of them were lawyers who were volunteering their time. Some of them were actually judges who just didn't have cases that day. It was really fun.
Okay, so yeah, you after that.
But then I went into Carleton for psychology because my
Really?
grades weren't high enough for anything else.
Well, I guess law has a little bit of psychology if you're doing litigation.
A little bit. I remember when I was leaving high school, one of the teachers there. You know what? Like some people would say this is terrible of him, but I think if anything, it really inspired me to kind of try my best because I found that every few years someone would come into my life and tell me I can't do something. And that's where I would get the courage to like go and do that specific thing.
Fire in you.
So leaving high school, it was that one teacher, Mr. Snar, told me that I shouldn't consider universities. Like maybe you're better cut out for college. So I went and enrolled for university.
That's hilarious.
And then first year of university, the professor for the Laws 1000 class, I was enrolled in psychology, but I was taking a law course. And the professor for that law course basically told everyone, yo, it was a hall, like an auditorium of almost 450 students. Like,
Wow.
huge. The first year classes are always massive. And she's like, okay, I want everyone to stand up. So now you have a hall of like, there's so many students, man, the chairs don't accommodate. You have people standing in like the walkway.
Yeah.
So everyone's standing. She's like, okay, everyone on the left side and the right side, sit down. So they sit down. And then she's like, that's how many people are going to be left from this auditorium by the end of the second year.
That's wild. That's pretty interesting.
So then we're all like, now the tone of the auditorium really changed. The air got a lot heavier, everyone's kind of stressing out at this point.
All these people are there just trying to see what they want in life now. Right?
Exactly. And then she's like, okay, everyone in the back of the auditorium, sit down. She's like, third year, that's what's left. So now we're down to like a third of the auditorium. It's just the people sitting like halfway up. And I was sitting at the front of the class because I thought I couldn't see. So I was sitting at the front. I needed glasses at the time. And then she's like, okay, how many of you guys want to go to law school? So I think from that group of people that was like left at this point, 30 or 40 of us put our hands up. And then she's like, okay, everyone else sit down. You guys stay standing. So everyone sat down. She's like, that's how many people are going to actually graduate from this program, this auditorium. And then now I'm looking around. I'm like, yo, we're down to 40 from 450. Yeah. This is not a good look,
They're gonna ram us down our throat with all this tough work and grueling.
And like, yo, let's be real. This is just Carleton. It's not like a world ranked university or anything. It's a good university, but it's not Harvard, right?
Right.
So I was like, okay. And then she's like, then she pointed at me and like 2 other students or something. And then she's like, I want everyone except for those 3 students to sit down. So now there's 3 of us standing.
Yeah.
And then she's like, from everyone in this hall, 3 students are going to law school. 3 students are going to apply to law school. And then she's like, she pointed at one person in the middle. She's like, you sit down. And then there's 2 of us. And she's like, 2 are going to get in.
Wow. That's actually wild.
And the thing is, she wasn't wrong.
She was telling
She
the
really
truth.
wasn't wrong. It really broke down just about that way. I graduated.
But why law, though, is the question.
I finished my
Give
first year.
some context for people that are actually interested in law.
Yo, honestly, it's just, it grew on me. I can't say I had this like vendetta for any particular thing, or I really felt passionate about like justice. I don't have that. It grew on me.
You want to tell everybody the truth how boring court is?
Court is great.
It's not that you watch suits. Objection,
Court is the
sustained,
fun part of
rejected, forget it, broken up. It doesn't work. It's not like that. Bang that
court is the
order in
fun
the court.
part. Court is the fun part. It's the solicitor work. Like when people are like, "Oh, I do like real estate law." That's fucking boring. It's good money, but it's boring. That's not very exciting.
It's all paperwork.
When you're doing litigation, everything in law is paperwork. But when you're doing litigation, you have like, you have a deposition or examination for discovery or whatever it might be, where you're actually interacting with clients or with other side. Things are moving, things are happening, and you get to really feel like you're flexing your like lawyer muscles to a certain extent.
So what do you think? Also, prestige plays a factor? I guess saying I'm a lawyer.
100%. I definitely always wanted something that was financially stable. And then, when you're in an Arab household, it's lawyer, doctor, engineer.
That's creme de la creme, bro. It's not always like that. Then you get the cab driver, the guy that works in concrete, and a chef here, delivery driver there.
Yeah, but like when you're growing up, your parents are always like, we want you to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer.
That's a fact.
So I was like, okay, I had to pick one of them.
We were farmers back home. We came here to give you a better life.
There you go.
You know what's crazy though? How many people I talk to that are from different countries? And then I have many that are employed here with me, right? But a lot of them, they get this weird notion. Everybody tells them, yeah, come to Canada, come to Canada. The trees are full of money. Just pick and go. Where did you get that bullshit? And then when they get here, I have a guy right now that he's from South America. And he has a sibling that he's taking care of. And the only reason why he came here was to be able to provide for her. I don't know what happened with the family situation. Not my business anyways.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to share it on a podcast either, but he said when he came here to be able to provide her and the child and whatever a better life. And the crazy part was he's realizing rent, bills, utility, eating, whatever. It's not cheap here, man.
No.
So you actually have to work like crazy to be able to offset the cost.
You know what I think it is? I think it's that people still have this idea of Canada from like 25, 30 years ago.
Where literally a minimum wage can take care of a family of 4.
Not only take care, but people were buying houses.
Yeah.
I was speaking with one of my family members 2 weeks ago, and they came here in, what year was it? Like 1965 or something, 1967. He bought his house for $7,000 Canadian.
The interest rate was what, 100%?
No, like I did the adjustment for inflation and everything, because me and my cousin were having an argument. Like, is it cheaper or is it more expensive if you actually factor in like the rate of inflation and everything? Man, like adjusted for money today, 7,000 in 65 was around $65,000 today.
It's wild.
So even adjusted for the rate of inflation, like cost of living has really skyrocketed.
A lot of people. Listen up. You know what? Everybody thinks self-employed, you're rich, and everybody, we make good coin. But even when I go to Costco, and then you ring up the groceries, I'm like, $250 on what, bro?
Yeah.
I got like 7 items in here. That's it.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Christina and a bunch of them here before about cost of living, and I was saying, you know what? We're entering difficult times. And at the end of the day, people can't expect employers that just pay these crazy wages. Whatever you're getting paid by an employer, it's based on the skill, right? So
Makes
that's
sense.
why McDonald's workers and lawyers are not getting paid the same thing. Because at the end of the day, it's all skill based. The higher the skill, the better the pay, right?
You know what's crazy? I was applying for work recently, and then one of the job postings, it was new call. So a new call is someone who's recently been called to the Ontario bar as a lawyer.
Yeah.
And that's after you finish your licensing requirements. You know, you're a lawyer at this point. So they wanted a new call with 2 years of experience or a year of experience in their specific practice area.
Yeah.
And you know what their salary was? Their offering salary? They were offering $56,000 a year.
That's insane.
And I was like, and they wanted transcripts. They wanted reference letters. They wanted like a whole slew of documents to prove that you were worth their time. And I was like, how can you even have the audacity to offer $56,000 for a new call, like for a lawyer, essentially?
And let's be honest, how hard is it to actually get these jobs?
It's, man, average applicants per position, you're looking at 2,000 people per position.
Give a story, even one of your stories.
About what?
Applying for a job and there wants some ridiculous.
Oh man, I had one. I've applied for so many jobs in the last. So okay, when you come, because I finished law school outside of Canada, I had to come back and do like a conversion. Essentially, I had to do 5 exams or 7 exams at the time to convert my degree. I did my conversions, and then I had to do what's called articling in my bar exams. I applied for 8 months straight looking for an articling position, and keep in mind, articling is a requirement. So you cannot get licensed unless you do articling.
Yeah.
And there's no positions just being handed out by the law societies. It's purely a competitive process. I applied for, I think, 300 positions before I said, yo, either something's wrong with me or something's wrong with the system.
300.
Right? Like it's one or the other has to give. So I looked into a different program called the LPP run by Ryerson University, and I registered for that. And they basically do 4 months of practical training where they put you in a virtual law firm. They give you the skills to be a lawyer, similar to what you would learn in articling, like at an actual law firm.
Yeah.
And then they have their own pool of jobs that you can apply to against the rest of the students in the program. And you'd finish your last 4 months with that actual law firm implementing all the skills you learned during the program, right? It's a great program. It was fantastic. I learned a lot from it. But still, even that, there was 350 positions available, and that was on a rolling basis. So like I think at the start of the program there was like 110 positions available, but there was always 375 students. So by the end of the program, even then, you know, when you were like kind of guaranteed the safe pool of like jobs to kind of apply to, there was 3 people who had to roll over into the next year. They couldn't find a job.
Insane.
Now at that point, it's like, did you really leverage all your tools and skills to get a position? Because I know I did. Because even at that point, I'd still applied to maybe 40 or 50 different positions just through that program.
That's incredible. That's nuts.
Yeah. And a lot of those positions, here's the crazy part, a lot of those positions are unpaid. So you're competing for unpaid positions at some point. I got declined from an unpaid position because there's someone better than me applying for it.
And on top of that, people have connections as well.
Yeah.
My dad is so-and-so.
It's a very nepotistic industry with a very talented pool of people applying for the same jobs. Because,
and
you know,
have on top of that now, you have, I even heard there's also competition that are coming in, let's say judges from other countries. And
yeah, I have a
willing
lot
to
of
do the same entry position as you guys are, and they already have 15 years of
because
experience in their respective industry in their country.
Exactly, because they need, now there's like, they'll say, oh, there's articling exemptions and this and that, but not everyone gets an articling exemption. And then you end up in the circumstance where you're applying for the same level position as someone who's run their own practice in like Nigeria for the last 15 years.
I won't lie to you. I don't agree with internship. Unpaid, everybody should get paid.
I agree.
Absolutely. You know?
Yeah.
No, I would never be able to accept somebody just doing something for free just for the sake of being like, oh, I want the experience.
Yeah.
Because that's bullshit. Let's say in the end of the day, if that person built let's say their billables are $500,000 or 100,000. I don't know anything in your industry, right? But let's just give some bullshit number like brand new intern was able to bill $100,000 for their time. He got zilch.
Yeah.
But he got the wealth of experience, but you still profited though.
That's the thing.
So everybody's entitled to, I'd say everybody should be entitled to actually making a wage.
Well, like when I was in Toronto and I was doing my like the second half of my articling over there, I was at a law firm in Toronto and they were paying me $4,000 Canadian a month, right? And I think I was billing on average between $20,000 and $35,000 a month for him. Now, I'm not to say that I was entitled to any of that money.
Yeah.
That's not the argument I'm trying to
yeah.
make, because I was learning. I was there to learn and I was training under him. Sure. But, there was no recognition of the effort of like the nights until 2 a.m., of a lot of these things. And at the end of the day, when I finished my 6 months with him, because he extended me twice or he extended me once, when I finished there, all right, well, on to the next student, right? So like for him, it was cheaper at face value to just hire another student, whereas he had already trained me. Had he kept me, I could have built more money. I was already bringing clients to the firm.
Yeah.
There
you go.
Like from a business point of view, it didn't make much sense.
That's pretty big though. If you're actually bringing your own, that's actually massive. If you're bringing your own clients.
Yeah. Now I don't know. It's weird coming out of COVID and everything, especially right now with the recession. I understand not everyone has the money to throw around on employees, but it is what it is.
So what would your advice be to anybody that's looking to start out in law?
Where they just want to they're fresh out of university and they want to apply?
Yeah.
Don't. I'm dead serious.
Sammy Alroub said it.
So many other ways to make money.
Folks. That's crazy.
Don't go to law school if you don't absolutely love the law. That's all I can say. If you're gonna get into it for money, it is very delayed gratification. You're not gonna see that investment pay off until 15 years or maybe 10 years down the line. Or if you're a fantastic lawyer and your grades are amazing, 6 years down the line, whatever,
Yeah.
But if you want to make $200,000 a year anywhere else, go do sales.
Sales is beautiful.
Yeah. You make a lot of money. You have a lot of opportunity to travel. If you're the kind of person who likes to travel with work, don't go to law. You are jurisdiction locked. I didn't realize this when I was applying because I didn't have any lawyers in the family to ask.
Yeah.
But you're jurisdiction locked. I always wanted a job where I could travel. Okay, sure, I can go to Dubai. I could work as counsel there, which I would love to do. Or, I could go and apply for the U.S. State Bar and I could rate the New York Bar and go down to New York. But realistically, the barrier to entry is so high to switch jurisdictions that you really just end up practicing wherever it is that you live.
So what kind of law are you looking to do? Practice? Well, you're currently practicing.
Right now, I'm doing a lot of solicitor work. So I help out on real estate transactions. I help out on business transactions, buying and purchasing and selling businesses. I help with franchising and franchise agreements. So that's kind of what my clients are right now. I do all that work with Marwah Law. And then we were also looking at starting open a small litigation side of the firm, which I would be in charge of. But we're still feeling that one out.
They're still in the talks.
Yeah, still feeling that out.
How can anybody reach you if they wanted your services?
They can either hit me up on the website. They can reach out by email,
Which
Instagram, marwahlaw.com. Schedule an appointment there.
We'll leave the description. We'll leave that in the description there. Okay.
And then so I mean just to come back to the question, no. I don't recommend it. I can't in good faith recommend it unless you were a nerd for the law.
It makes sense, honestly. You know what? From what I've seen and obviously from what I've heard from you, it seems very grueling of a process. I don't think everybody's built for that either.
No, definitely not. You really got to love it. At some point, I had to learn to love it because I knew I could take my skills anywhere else and make money in the meanwhile. But I was just okay, you know what? It's actually something I enjoy doing. So I'm here. I don't mind it. I don't mind my position. I'm happy where I am, But if someone's 23 just out of university and they're telling me, I don't really know what to do with my life. I'm not sure which way I should go. I was considering law school. I'd tell them, really think hard about that. Because you're looking at $120,000 invested, student loans.
Which is not cheap.
It's a big chunk of change.
Yeah, man.
And you can't really work during that time either. Law school is a full-time job.
Yeah.
I can't recommend it, especially now.
Well, let me ask you a final question since we're running out of time. If they've already finished law school, what kind of advice would you give them in terms of actually just getting in the field?
Push. Be the best version of you can every single day. Learn everything. Be a sponge. That's it.
And how should they be able to find a job?
How?
I guess that's
apply. You need a spreadsheet. And then on one side of the spreadsheet, you need all the firms you're interested in. On the other side of the spreadsheet, all the people right? And then you take your network and you start making phone calls. and you apply online because now everything's online. You can't just walk into a law firm like you used to be able to and hand over your resume. I actually got kicked out of a law firm doing that once.
They told you apply online?
They told me, not only that, they told me apply online, and then the reception's like, by the way, did you graduate from Ottawa U? I was like, no. She's like, yeah, we don't, no chance. She's like,
Really?
we only hire out of Ottawa U.
You know what? Tell them, come to the driving range. Come see me and Sammy at the golf course.
Come meet us
Hey,
down at the
you
range.
never know. Maybe they should start going golfing too, bro. There'll be some Uncle Phil Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
That's my recommendation. Go buy golf clubs.
You know what? On another episode, we'll find out how golfing is right. I'm still sore, by the way.
Man, it hurts.
I couldn't believe it. I never believe. Okay, I'm very inactive, but 4 days it's been.
I never thought golf was a sport. I'll be honest with you. I was shut on it. I was like a football, soccer, this, that. Yo.
Anybody that talks shit anymore. I won't lie. I had a blast, man.
It was so much
I had a
fun.
blast.
I can't wait to go play our first 9 together.
I'm down.
Yeah.
No, I gotta go to the
We
driving range.
need a few more days at the range.
A couple more times at the driving range. We'll be back. Guys, you heard it here first. Sammy Alroub, man. Pleasure to have you.
Habibi,
Man.
it was a
How are
pleasure.
you?
Thank you so much.